Welcome back. It is 1672. In the last one, lots of things happened. um, but most importantly, we did have Thomas trying to use a love potion on Charity and that not succeeding. Instead, she has fallen for thanks. So that is going to be a huge drama. Elliot has found out about his son and wife, Canon Chet, and Melly are having an affair. Chogun is pursuing Hope so that he can have another baby, and Josiah and Delilah got married. Okay, so that's all the stuff that happened last year. I cannot remember all of that off the top of my head. I have to look at my notes. But anyway, let's go here and do our birthdays. So it is 1672, not a lot of birthdays. Abigail Hobart is becoming an infant, no 12, 16, or 18. Dorothy Hobart is becoming a toddler, no 4, 8, or 17. Okay. And then Elliot Waldrick is passing away this year. We have 1672. Let's see. We have Nathaniel Harper doing his adult part 2 role. So that is at least a 9. He's fine, of course. The evil ones always live forever. What else? I think that's the only birthday. So then the other thing is I do want to introduce you to a new family we're adding in. Casey7654 added the Sims into the gallery for us. Very exciting. And this is the Johnson family. So the Johnson family is all siblings. And it's, I believe it's like all sisters and one brother. Yeah. So we have Bridget, who is the oldest, loyal, bookworm. Meredith loves the outdoors, erratic. Alice, genius. Abigail, gloomy. Annabelle, kleptomaniac. And Elijah, who isn't really anything yet because he's still a baby. But I'm excited. We really had like such a big ratio of boys more than girls, especially like we have 4 teenage boys who are supposed to get married that we don't have like anyone and any birthdays for a really long time to make more teenage girls. So I needed a family with a lot of girls. So thank you, Casey, for the family, and we are adding them in now. So let's actually hop into gameplay. Okay, so here we are, and we are with Melly here. She is still really struggling in this household. She is having a hard time because of, the pressure of not having a child, the pressure of also, conforming to what they believe she should be like. She's just really been struggling, and her outlet for that has been Canon Chet. He has been the one who has really helped her through that, and it did lead to an affair, which is not good. But, like I always say, I'm not condoning actions, I'm just explaining them. So, what we have here is the two of them still spending time together. It's really the only time she feels happy nowadays. And so she's really been struggling, and he has been trying to convince her, like, hey, you should consider just getting a divorce, coming back, like, we could be together for real. We could get married. You could be with your family. You could be, the person that you are. And I don't even care if we don't have any children or anything. Like, we could just be happy. And so it's really tempting, right? It's really tempting for her to, she left everything to be with Amos, and she has totally reinvented herself in the image of what he would want in a wife. And in the end, it didn't really make her happy, and she's realizing that, and she's realizing that, maybe she kind of jumped into things in a way that, a lot of back then people got married so quickly, like they met each other and a few weeks later they got married, so, it's easy to later have regrets about making your decision too quickly. And so anyway, the two of them are having their date here, and who is, kind of walking by incognito over there in the corner, but Muriel sees Melly out, and then she sees that she is here with Ken and Chet. She sees them kiss. She sees them, being romantic, and she is furious, right? She is not happy because Muriel actually did like Mellie a lot. She thought that she would be a good wife for Amos. And again, one of the reasons for that is because she knew that she could meld Mellie into what they wanted her to be. And so she was actually fond of her because she did, whatever Muriel wanted, because you know how Muriel is. So Muriel is very angry that, Mellie is engaged in this affair. And so she's going to come home and immediately tell Amos that, Mellie is having an affair and that she's, not worthy of their family, and that, he needs to find someone better because she obviously doesn't, follow her wedding vows or anything like that. And so she's going to come here and she's going to start yelling at Mellie and basically telling her, like, how dare you, how could you do this to my son, and all this stuff. And it's kind of interesting because, like, Amos is just kind of a passive participant in this, which I feel like is really indicative of his whole life. But Amos is very much a passive participant. Muriel is doing most of the talking, most of the yelling, most of the angry, and Amos is just like, yeah, that's right. And you know what? That was something that Amos's mother wanted to protect him from. She wanted him to kind of be his own man, and she got killed for it. So anyway, so yeah, she's very angry with Mellie, yelling at her, screaming at her, calling her names, basically being like, how, you're the worst, and all these horrible, horrible things. And so then they're going to be like, okay, well, you're getting a divorce. Actually, that's a good point. I didn't actually divorce them. But yeah, she's like, you're getting a divorce. Like, you are, not going to be together anymore. Like, you've lost your position in our family. Like, get out, don't take anything with you, kind of thing. And so Mellie ends up having to go home to her father and her brother. And so she goes back here and she has to, she gets, on the bright side, like, she gets her old clothes back and everything. But she comes and she talks to her father and she's like, look, I made a mistake. I mean, it's not really a mistake. It's sort of a mistake. It's definitely not a good thing. But she's basically like, look, I wasn't happy in my marriage. And instead of just getting a divorce, I had an affair. And honestly, Chogun isn't like super mad when she tells him that the affair was with Ken and Chet. Chogun was like, oh, I was right. Like, Chogun kind of feels like he's kind of vindicated a little bit because he told his kids not to get married to, people outside of their community, and then they did, and look what happened. So he feels a little vindicated by that, which is awful, but he obviously takes his daughter back with open arms. He loves his kids very much, and he feels very strongly about, keeping and maintaining his relationship with them, after losing Squanto and everything. So meanwhile, he is still trying to help Uncas by having a baby of his own instead of having Uncas have to have that responsibility of having a child and everything. He wants to make sure that, he can carry it on. He doesn't need the kids to be stressed like he was about it. And it's like amazing to me that he had so many kids and not a single one of them. But anyway, so he is going to try and do that with Hope because, she's receptive and everything. So he is trying to have a baby with Hope, and I'm woohooing them over and over and over again, but nothing's happening. But basically, he is trying to have a baby with Hope, but because of these efforts, in order so that his son doesn't have to get remarried and have babies, he ends up woohooing to death. He woohoos him and Hope woohoo, and then he gets overexerted, and then he passes away. So unfortunately for him, that is a big struggle. And he was trying to do like a good thing. He was trying to do the right thing by not pressuring his children into having to, have lots of kids, have heirs and stuff. But unfortunately, that plan did not come to fruition. So next, we are going to head over and see Cameron. And so Charity, as you know, in the last one, Charity has fallen completely head over heels with thanks because of the love potion Thomas gave her that kind of backfired. I think we're gonna like it's gonna be one of those things like you drink it and then you fall in love with the first person you see, and she, as soon as she drank it, she started not to feel well, so she kind of like turned away from Thomas and ended up seeing Thanks. And so she's totally in love with him, and she, tells her father, she told her father last time, but she's really talking to her father, and she's like, please, please, I want to marry him so bad. Like, he's from a good family. I promise it'll be good. And so the whole family is kind of discussing it because after the whole incident with Sadie, the whole family is in on every single marriage that is going on here. And so even, is his name Thomas? I'm trying to remember what the dad's name is now, and I forget. But the grandpa, now Charity's grandfather, is also, giving his 2 cents, and he does like the Hobart family. He feels like they're a good, respectable family, and so he, feels good about her being able to marry him too. And so everyone is kind of in agreement that if she wants to marry Thanks, that she can. And so Cameron is going to go and have a little talk with Thanks. So if you remember, Thanks is actually, um, dating Trinity. So he is dating Trinity, and they are, wanting to get married in the future, but this kind of whole thing has come up where it's very awkward for him, and he feels like he kind of can't say no to, the son of the captain, who's probably going to be the future captain, and like their family is so like respected and well off, and like very much high up in the ranks here, and like he could be like excommunicated over like making them mad, even though like they probably wouldn't do that. They're big into like honor and respect. They wouldn't probably do something like that unless there was like a good reason behind it. Just saying no is not a good reason. But like if he had like an affair or if he was doing something wrong, it probably wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to jump on that. So Thanks is feeling kind of awkward about the whole thing, but is just like, okay, like, yeah, like I like Charity. She's awesome. Like she's really like a very lovely lady. And Cameron is just kind of like, great. So we're in agreement. And Thanks is like, I don't know what to do here. I don't know how to explain myself. I don't know how to say no to authority. So that conversation kind of ends with Cameron being like, great, we're good. We're done. This is it. And Thanks being like, oh no. So next we're going to head over to see Elliot. As we know, he is dying this year, so we're going to kill him. I keep accidentally making people playable ghosts. But we end up bringing him here, and he ends up passing away. He's been deteriorating for a while, so he ends up passing away, and honestly, like, it's a relief. Like, yes, it's sad, but it's also a relief because Elliot was going to ruin their lives because of, their affair and the children and everything. And so basically it's a big relief that he's passed away because now they are not in danger of getting outed to the community and everything. And, of course, Edmund is still trying to make the moves. Edmund is such a player to everybody, but, him and Sadie have been having this relationship for quite some time, so she doesn't mind it. She even has like a little bit of feelings for him, but like not a ton, but like she like knows who he is, but also she's kind of like, well, now that Elliot is dead, like she doesn't mind if he has his affairs and stuff. She wouldn't mind it. But then we're going to head over to see the Waldrick household here, and we have Pullman here, and Ruth has been pretty aggressively pursuing him. He does like her too, but he feels a very strong weight on his shoulders since his father passed away, and also like he just doesn't really know. Like he keeps running into her, like chatting with his mother and sister and like having a good time. And he's like, you are pushing your way into my life and it's making me kind of uncomfortable. Like, can we please be more organic about this? So Ruth is definitely making herself at home with them. And, he kind of comes to talk to her and he's like, look, Ruth, I just want to let you know, like we are, our family is making up with the Yazzie family. We're not going to be so isolated anymore. It's going to really be not just our family on this island. It's going to be this whole community of people. And Ruth is like, that's fine. I'm good. I'll go with you. Like she's so not worried about it at all. And Pullman is like, no, I'm trying to impress upon you that things are not going to be the same as they are. And she's like, that's great. And she's like, I love you. Like, we'll get married. It's fine. And so he's just kind of like, he does like her. Like, that's the problem is he likes her, but she's coming on too strong, like, and so they're being flirty and like, yeah, he's into it. And, in his culture, it's not such a big deal to like woohoo before marriage and stuff. But like, he's just kind of like, I'm trying to get you to slow down a little bit, and it's not working. So, um, meanwhile, we do have Winona and um, Caleb. I forgot his name for a second. Winona and Caleb, who have been in a relationship a little bit for some time, and they went on a date last time, and they're going to get engaged. She's also like up higher on this like slope than him, and it makes him look very small. But anyway, Winona and Caleb are going to get engaged. He has a lot to offer her, and she has kind of grown up, like with her mother being Rebecca. It's just kind of easy for her to step into that Puritan culture as well. Like her mother did, teach them stuff, even though like, they're here with their father's culture, the Native American culture, but like at the same time, like it's not like Rebecca didn't, tell them about how life is like in the Puritan settlement. And so it's not really a culture shock, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, is like Winona would not be, struggling as much as Mellie would in this same situation. So that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if it's coming out right. I just do my best. So we are actually going to have a little party where the two families are coming together, and they are going to, officially reunite with each other, even though they have been kind of building towards that for a few years. But they're actually going to, have this kind of party to show that everyone's good now. And so they're all hanging out, having fun. And honestly, Pullman is kind of looking around like, should I marry someone else? Like, is it Ruth? Is she the answer? And kind of looking to see if there are any eligible ladies around. Of course, there are not. Because the only one would be Mellie, and she is with his brother, and he would never do that. And so he's just kind of like, well, I guess so. I guess it's Ruth. I guess we're doing this. So yeah, he's very much like unsure about exactly what he wants to do, and because of that, it's kind of making him doubt the stuff with Ruth, because it feels like there's like a lot of change going on. He wants to fit in here. He wants Chogun to like it. Well, Chogun's dead now, but he wants Uncas to like him. He wants to make sure this is a smooth transition with no issues, and he's worried, and that kind of manifests in like doubts of himself and everything. So next, we're going to head to the Johnson family, which we just added. So they need to, meet the community, meet everybody here. And so we're going to send them into the church with everybody. They are all, I think the thing said that they're like half siblings. Honestly, I am so sorry to the person who made them, because I can't find your original YouTube comment with like the full explanation of everybody. So I'm just going to kind of go based off their traits and stuff. But yes, it is a group of siblings. No one is married or anything. We have the eldest sister, Bridget, here. And she is trying to, get to know people, get to know the people around town. And unfortunately for her, she ends up talking to Nathaniel for a little while. And, he seems fine enough at first. They just chit-chat. And, but of course, Nathaniel's a sleazeball, so that's an unfortunate first impression. Where Nathaniel basically, like, hits on her or something and is like, I have two mistresses living in my house now. You could be the next. And she's like, no, thanks. And so she kind of like walks away. And Thaddeus, who is Nathaniel's son, he kind of comes over and he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry about my father. He's awful. I know. Everybody knows he's awful. I'm so sorry. And so she's like, it's okay. Like, I get it. I understand what it's like to have to deal with family members. I've got a lot of them. So they're just kind of talking and chit-chatting and becoming friends. And, it feels good for her to be able to make a friend, because she, they're new to town. So she's glad to make a friend in Thaddeus and get to know him a little bit. So that's all good. Next, we're going to go to our main household. And we are very close to Lydia having a baby. So we're going to have her. Actually, I think she's having twins. So there is that. So yeah, Lydia, we're having the kids do the chores a bit. They can do the farm stuff and whatever. They cannot do the honey stuff. So we'll have Lydia do that. But yeah, so there they are doing their thing. And then we're going to have Lydia have her baby, except it's kind of confusing because she disappears all the time. She keeps disappearing. Okay, so she's gone into labor and we're going to send her upstairs. I think she's having twins, I believe. So the first baby, unfortunately, does not survive. And Lydia on the second baby rolls to die in childbirth. But the second baby does roll to live. So that's Astrid Hobart is born. Her brother and her mother did die in childbirth. There was complications and stuff, and so one of the babies didn't make it, and Lydia unfortunately is going to pass away now. So it's very sad. They were gonna have so many babies. Now they have like 3 daughters, I think, but yeah, I mean, it stinks when stuff like this happens. It's so hard because I'm always like trying to make it so that like I love the roles and I love the drama that they bring to my game, but also sometimes the roles they hurt me. They hurt me in my heart, and it makes me feel a little sad. But what you gonna do? So, Lydia is going to pass away. Obadiah is going to become a single father of like 5, and that will be that on that. So, let's move on before we all get sad. For birthdays, we have Abigail Hobart becoming an infant, Astrid Hobart also becoming an infant, but later. That is like the only birthdays. Everybody else this year died, and it was quite a few of them. Dorothy Hobart died, Elliot Waldrick died, Chogun Yazi died, and Lydia Hobart died. So that is a lot. That's a lot. Okay, so that will change our story a little bit, but I am excited to adjust, and I hope you guys enjoyed this part. We are only a couple years out from the boys becoming teenagers, which I'm really excited about. So we'll that's in 1675, I believe. So I'm very excited about that. But there's also a war in 1675. So anyway, okay. But yes, hope you guys enjoyed. Catch you in the next one.